Sonic the Hedgehog consumed my life. I'd say from about the ages 3 to
insert current age here.
It has been all I have thought about. But come on, who hasn't been affected by this little blue rat in one way or another?
Some more than others.
My childhood was dominated by Sonic games, and I spent a countless amount of hours grinding, memorizing, and speeding through all the levels. I truly was a Sonic master. There was only one blight on my Sonic career. Despite all my knowledge and prestige, I am ashamed to admit that I have never beaten Sonic Adventure. And that's all thanks to this big f***er right here. This character is Big the Cat, and he is the penultimate antithesis to the core mechanics of what a Sonic game is. We all know what Sonic games are like. Rush and explore the stages at breakneck speeds, pulling off stylish tricks and chaining attacks from enemy to enemy. Gotta go fast! That's what a Sonic game is. Sonic Adventure was Sonic's first outing into the 3D world and is filled with these action-packed stages that will have your heart pounding from all the adrenaline and dopamine being pumped into you. But you can't actually beat Sonic Adventure without beating every character's story mode. Normally that wouldn't be an issue, all of the characters' levels are similar enough in playstyle to Sonic's. There's just one problem. One big problem. To beat the levels as Big the Cat, you need to go fishing. Fishing. In a Sonic game. That is a big ask from Sega, to have kids wait around trying to catch a mutant frog instead of zooming through the stages as their favorite blue crackhead. I didn't have time for that.
Ain't nobody got time for that.
Especially playing this game like as a 5-year-old, I did not have the patience for these levels. Even my friends, who were just as big of Sonic diehards as me, couldn't get through Big's story. One of my friends made it to the ice cap level, which is only the second stage mind you, and we revered him for it. We praised him, but I couldn't do it. I couldn't wrap my head around how to actually catch Froggy, or any fish for that matter. Maybe I'd get lucky and reel something in from time to time, but most of the level was spent watching Froggy ignore the bait, take a nibble, and then swim away. I got tired of failing, so I did what any young kid would do, and that was to go straight into Sonic Adventure 2.
Oh my god! Yes! Yes!
And so my Big the Cat experience was put on hold. I never went back to finish his story, and eventually, Sonic Adventure faded from my rotation of Sonic games. Until recently, over 20 years later. This was something that stuck with me for my entire life. I graduated high school! Oh, but I haven't beaten Sonic Adventure. I got my driver's license! Damn, I still haven't beaten Sonic Adventure. Oh my god, the Sonic movie looks hideous! Oh my god, they fixed Sonic! Oh my god, I still haven't beaten Sonic Adventure! It was time to finish what I started all those years ago. It was time to put that fat cat down. So I replayed through the entirety of Sonic Adventure, re-experienced the story and the gameplay for the first time in over 2 decades, and what I found surprised the heck out of me. But was this surprise one that reeled me in, or was this a surprise that broke my line? Let's cast our aspersions aside and finally tackle Sonic Adventure's big problem. As I said before, the biggest issue with Big's levels is the contrast in gameplay from the other characters. While they all differ slightly, there is an emphasis on action and exploring the level that you're thrusted into. Take Twinkle Park for example. As Sonic, the various attractions that are in the park get incorporated into the level in a way that has you going from memorable segments like the go-karts and the roller coaster section near the end of the level. As Amy, you are in a nail-biting chase from this robot Zero while also going through sections that are integral to the park like this nightmarish funhouse part with the trick mirrors. Going to Twinkle Park is Big has you locked into this one area of the park with water so that you can fish for Froggy. And this isn't a freaking lake, this is a pool. How are you going to catch a fish in a normal swimming pool? I've been trying for hours, and so far I got nothing. There's no exploring, no standout set pieces, just you in a set zone, fishing for your life. Literally. Because if you do happen to hook a fish and it breaks your line, you lose a life. That is a steep learning curve for someone who is so young, and a brutal punishment for just trying to learn the mechanics that are specifically tied to Big. These levels require patience, and while there are other mechanics to learn as the other characters as well, you can usually find other solutions thanks to their more expansive movesets. In case you haven't noticed, Big is in fact fat. He can't jump and go fast like Sonic or glide through the air like Knuckles. Big is good at one thing: fishing. And if you can't get the hang of his gameplay, you aren't going to progress. But let me tell you something. The game tells you how to beat his levels almost from the very beginning when you start playing as him. Do you remember Omochao from Sonic Adventure 2? The annoying little helper that tries to give you hints, but just ends up being annoying and in the way? Yeah, the one that you want to strangle all the time? I can say that I have never learned anything useful from that little bastard. But I can't say the same about this random little fucking boy right here. This random kid, Mr. Know-It-All, tells you the secret to how to beat Big's levels.
And it's all about setting the line.
Setting the line. When that little bastard starts to nibble on your bait, you need to set the line so that hook gets nice and deep in there. Then you can start reeling in. Just be careful not to snap your line. Once you know how to use this mechanic, Big's levels finally become doable. You're not just sitting and waiting, you're fighting. You are struggling to catch these fish, and it turns what feels like an essential minigame into a simple yet very fun tug of war. Sonic Adventure is filled with fun segments, but none of them feel quite like this. Learning to set the line and just how to play as Big turns these levels into something that I actually want to play. And now that I do know how, I see Big in a totally different light. And guys, let me tell you, I finally got past the first level. Yes, it's been over 20 years, but I finally did it. After hours of getting skunked in Twinkle Park, I finally caught that freaky frog. Everything after this was essentially new to me, and I started seeing cutscenes and moments that I have literally never seen before. This really did make Sonic Adventure feel as fresh as ever. Progressing through the rest of Big's story and seeing how it plays out made me like him even more. Not only is his gameplay drastically different, but his story beats and impact are as well. Every character's story is taken seriously, and tension builds and weaves between them as you learn about how everything connects together. For example, getting glimpses of the past and seeing how Chaos, the main monster of the game, came to be creates suspense, and seeing Tikal and her struggles with her tribe hit especially hard for Knuckles, considering that he is learning about his long extinct ancestors and maybe why he's the only echidna left. All of these characters are capable of standing up and fighting evil, except Big. Big is the embodiment of the phrase fish out of water, which couldn't be any more thematically accurate for his character. Playing as someone who bumbles their way around the story, essentially getting dragged into the plot and things happening, is so refreshing to see, especially in a story with such high stakes. It's fun to see things from this perspective because in every other Sonic game, you are playing as the most important person. You are the one with all the powers, you are the one collecting all the Chaos Emeralds and fighting the world-ending boss in the end. But Big is not that person. Even when he shares scenes with other characters and moments that have high tension in the story are deflated and come off almost as somewhat farcical when looked at from Big's viewpoint. The entire section when Big is on the egg carrier is just comedy gold. This is where Chaos finally finds Froggy and absorbs his Chaos Emerald, turning into Chaos 6. Sonic comes up and emphasizes how crazy and unbelievable what just happened was, and Big clearly has no idea about what is going on.
Chaos has transformed again!
Even the Chaos Emeralds, which have been established as probably the most important things in the Sonic universe up to this point, go right over Big's head. He doesn't know what they are, which is crazy because he actually owns one, but just refers to it as his lucky charm. Big is just a simple guy. He doesn't really have an interest in what makes the Sonic games so cool. I love it. Oh, and I also really love that once the egg carrier is being destroyed, the official canon way that Big was able to escape is that he was able to pilot a Tornado 2, which I just want to remind everyone that it has no landing gear, was crash landed by Tails, is technologically complicated and advanced for anyone to fly, and is way too small for Big to even fit in. Even for a kid's game like Sonic, this is hard to believe, but that's why I love it. It's so unbelievable, it's good. I always thought that Big was a blight on Sonic Adventure, but now after revisiting it, he really is the most unique thing about it. Let's look at Sonic Adventure 2 for example. Sonic Adventure 2 brings back and expands upon every gameplay mechanic and aspect from its predecessor, just like every good sequel should. The Sonic movement is refined, Knuckles' treasure hunting levels are more in-depth, and even E101 Gamma's shooter gameplay returns and is given to Tails and Eggman. The only aspect from Adventure 1 that did not return was Big. Instead of finding secret fishing spots in the most unlikely places, Big is now reduced to a simple cameo, a sort of hidden Easter egg for players to find instead. But then again, you won't always be able to see him, it depends on what version of the game you're playing. I can't lie and say that some of these cameos don't go hard, but his impact and representation from Adventure 1 has been vastly reduced, and that goes for the series as a whole as well. Sonic Adventure 1 was Big's debut and greatest outing to date. He was playable in Sonic Heroes in 2003, but that was also over 20 years ago. That was his last playable appearance in a mainline Sonic game, but he's appeared in side games and spin-offs since then. I mean, he wasn't even at Sonic's birthday. What the f***, Sega? But this is why Big segments in Sonic Adventure are so special. You can't get Big's fishing experience in any other Sonic game. Well, I guess you kind of can in Sonic Frontiers, but that doesn't even come close to how it is in Sonic Adventure. And there it was an actual minigame, it wasn't a mandatory style of play that you needed to do. It really is a fun way to break up the usual gameplay that you would get from a Sonic game with Big. In the more modern Sonic games, it feels like the variety of gameplay has gotten more and more limited. What you do play is good, it's just that is the only experience you will get. Even not liking these stages as a kid, they did stand out because they were memorable, and it's funny how that has stayed the same even now going back. This is what makes Sonic Adventure so strong. The gameplay is so fun and diverse, and that cannot be more highlighted when looking at Big. What started out as my biggest gripe with the game turned into one of my biggest likes. And I do have to say, what an award for getting through his story. So since I never beat Big's levels as a kid, I never got to see the actual ending and final fight against Perfect Chaos. Of course I knew that this fight happened because of Sonic Generations and X, but I never got to experience how the original felt with those classic controls and graphics. And what a legendary and iconic fight this is. It is a little simple just dashing straight forward to attack him, but managing your ring counter and dodging the tornadoes coming your way is really challenging and fun, and it even got me a few times. And even the King, Big himself, makes an appearance for this final fight. What a great ending to a great game.
All's well that ends well, right?
Honestly, I am so happy that I came back to revisit this game. I have a newfound appreciation for it, and I truthfully have to thank Big for that. A lot of my criticisms and opinions going into making this video shifted once I finally learned how to play. I said earlier that Big's levels don't offer exploration, which may be true of Twinkle Park, but I was surprised just how much there is to find and little secrets there are to this big guy. Emerald Coast is so fun as Sonic, and the setting suits the style of Big's gameplay so well. At first it looks like there's just this section of the beach to fish on, but you can go and find this hidden cave which leads to a whole new cool area. That was super fun to find. And in Ice Cap Zone, you can find these dinosaur bones in the water, which I don't remember seeing in Sonic's version of that level at all. Even in the adventure field, you can cast your line into bodies of water to get some bonus rings. I never knew that either, it's just so charming. Not to mention Big has some upgrades and power-ups just like the other characters, which make him better in every way that matters. And that's fishing. And also, once you have all the upgrades, crazy fish start to show up. Some of these I never even knew were in the game. It gives even more variety to the gameplay, and seeing all the unique and colorful fish is really fun. I may not have had the patience for him as a kid, but now that I'm older, I have an all-new perspective on this fat feline. I mean, just look at him. He lives in the woods with his pet frog, has no walls in his shack, can fish from his front door, and has weed littered all over the ground. Is he a hobo or a freaking legend? I think we all know the answer to that question. God bless you, Big. God bless you.